Hey guys, today we're driving the 2022 Hyundai Tucson XRT. This is the new off-roady trim for the 22 model year. This has a 2.5 liter inline four-cylinder that makes 187 horsepower and 178 pound-feet of torque. That's mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. This one has H-track all-wheel drive. The standard XRT Tucson comes in front-wheel drive, which isn't very off-roady. All-wheel drive is a $1,500 option. This can tow up to 2,000 pounds. It does have 8.3 inches of ground clearance, which is pretty respectable, but all all-wheel drive Hyundai Tucsons have 8.3 inches of ground clearance. Front-wheel drive cars are about 7.1 inches, I believe. Pretty standard interior, no major changes in this XRT trim, no badging, no off-roady bits. It's just the standard cloth interior taken from the SEL with the convenience package. This is around $34,000, a little bit over $34,800 as tested. So kind of pricey for what you're getting compared to like a Subaru Forester Outback Wilderness, for example, which is about the same price as this, but offers way more in terms of off-road capability. We do get some different drive modes down here. Well, at least there's an option to lock the center differential and get a 50/50 torque split. We get a rear-facing camera, no forward-facing or 360 camera, heated seats, no heated steering wheel, some nice climate controls, physical buttons for the temperature controls, and then just kind of haptic touch buttons down here for everything else. A nice, I believe this is an 8-inch screen, CarPlay, Android Auto, all wireless, something that strangely wasn't in the Genesis G90 we just drove. It had wired CarPlay. This interior pretty much looks the same as the Santa Cruz that we had last year. It is a pretty nice interior space. Lots of physical controls, very user-friendly, attractive enough. You've got wireless charging down here. Pretty good layout. And this is a very spacious SUV. All right, let's walk you around this, show you some of the changes with this XRT trim. All the changes with this XRT trim are on the outside. We get running boards, 19-inch alloy wheels, lots of black plastic cladding, a roof rack, and a tow hitch in the back, which actually impedes quite a bit on departure angle. It kind of looks like a Kurt hitch or some type of aftermarket hitch just kind of slapped on there. A lot of chrome delete here, lots of black plastic. These 19-inch wheels could be a bit smaller for off-roading, and we just get a set of Michelin Highway All Seasons. We have a super spacious rear cargo area. We don't even get a full-size spare tire. This is a compact spare tire, so if you're off-roading your Hyundai Tucson XRT and you're going through rocks and trails on your Michelin Highway All Season tires and you get a puncture, you're gonna have to put this on, which is a bit of a shame. But there's a ton of room back here to just sit, put things, sleep. Fold this seat back up. It's nice to see that these seats recline quite a bit. We'll hop behind my driving position here. I'm 5'10", and seated behind myself, I have a ton of legroom. I can pretty much straighten out my legs. A couple climate control vents, USB ports. Nice little armrest. This XRT only comes with the black cloth seat interior. I read somewhere it also comes with black headliner, but obviously we don't have that in this car. This could be pre-production, or that could have been wrong. You never know what is correct that you read on the internet. Let's take a look at this 2.5 liter inline four-cylinder. It's rated for 24 miles to the gallon in the city, 29 mpg on the highway. Hyundai's 2.5 liter GDI direct injection motor takes 0W20 oil, 87 minimum octane. Nice heavy hood. I feel like any smaller crossover or SUV that employs running boards to get in, it's either for people who are under 5 feet tall or kids in the back maybe, but the running board in the back is kind of, I guess that would work for kids, but it just becomes an inconvenience on a daily basis for normal drivers. You either have to step around it, and then you're always hitting your ankles on it, getting dirt on your leg. or you have to step over it, then crouch down, and that makes ingress and egress way more challenging. All right, I think we've pretty much covered the interior at the beginning of this video, so let's take this out for a drive and see how it does on the road. I'm not sure if we've driven the Hyundai Tucson with a 2.5 liter. Not super powerful, but it drives really well. It's very smooth. This 8-speed auto is great. It's kind of refreshing not to have a CVT in something like this. Hyundai does a great job with all of their driving inputs with their cars these days. Steering feel, turn signal, weight, the buttons, the feel of the shifter when you put it into gear. They've done such a good job calibrating everything to just feel nice and feel high quality. We've got a fully digital gauge cluster here. This 8-speed is nice and smooth, and the 2.5 liter 4-cylinder is pretty quiet. Brake pedal travels a little bit long. Pedal's a bit squishier than I would like. Ride is nice though, even on these larger 19-inch wheels. A little bit of impact noise over larger bumps, but I mean the suspension feels pretty typical for something in this class, even if it is on the softer side. Let's take this off-road and see what it's like on the dirt. Here's some potholes. You can actually get pretty far with 8.3 inches of ground clearance, though I'm sure the running boards will probably impede on that a little bit, as well as hurt your breakover angle. And it is a bit of a shame we don't get a 360 or forward-facing camera in this trim. All right, some pure Michigan driving right here. That's more off-roading than you'll see at the Starbucks drive-thru, that's for sure. All right, how are we doing here off the line? Acceleration feels pretty good up to 60 miles per hour. Again, only 187 horsepower here. Here at what is essentially sea level in Michigan, haven't really had too many issues with power level this week. Gets a little bit more asthmatic on the highway, but overall feels pretty good. I think if you're at altitude, you might be wanting for a turbo-charged engine, but otherwise, this is fine. Pretty quiet at highway speed. We get adaptive cruise control with 3 different following distance settings and lane centering. This Tucson XRT has an unbranded sound system. It's not the best in-car audio, but we'll listen to it for a little bit with our sound test playlist. complaint that I would have is I would prefer a volume knob instead of the slider. It's just a little bit more awkward to use, but it is nice that we do get a physical control there. Overall, I like how this Tucson drives. It's kind of nimble, feels lightweight, rides nicely. Do I like this XRT trim? Not really. I would love it if Hyundai did just a little bit more actual work here to make this more off-road capable, even if they put on a set of highway terrain tires, got rid of the running boards, and the roof rack is fine, the tow hitch is fine. That makes it a little bit more usable for people who want to go biking or put accessories on the back. And you're not really going to be able to tow too much, maybe a small boat. But yeah, with so many other pretty decent off-road trims out there on the market, with the Subaru Wilderness trim and even the small baby Ford Bronco with its Badlands trim and some of their bigger tire off-road options, this is left wanting quite a bit in terms of actual off-road capability. So I guess it's okay as an appearance trim, and I suppose the N line is kind of the same story with this Tucson. That's just an appearance trim too. No actual performance gained or really much has changed underneath the body. So, okay, but for my money, I'd rather just have an SEL or maybe even swing up to a Limited to get a few more conveniences and features. But then you're getting high into the mid to high 30s. All right, guys, those are my thoughts on the new 2022 Hyundai Tucson XRT. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.